Hello and welcome back to another video. So I've used the Xbox Series X for over a month now, and I have to say I really like the Series X, but it's not perfect by any means. I will do my best to lay out a bunch of information to help you decide if you want to purchase the Series X or not. The Series X costs $500 with 1 terabyte of storage. 802 gigabytes of that is usable. We also get a disk drive unlike you'd see in the Series S. If you're a person that buys a lot of discs, or if you collected a lot of older games, then going for the Series X with the disk drive may be worth it in that alone. Over time, it is nice to have a disk drive because you are able to sell off games you're done with. In comparison to a PC, you cannot build a PC with this kind of gaming performance for $500. So it is hard to compare a PC as the biggest competitor to the Xbox Series X. Instead, the PlayStation 5 is truly its biggest competitor. And I will make or will have made a full comparison video, so if it is up, I will link it in the description. As I said in my initial impressions video, the controller is not much different from last year's Xbox One controller. With that said, I love the Xbox One controller, and I still like this controller a lot as well. The size and layout is just really nice to me. I think it fits in the hand quite nicely and even slightly better than last gen's one. My only wish really is that it had the adaptive triggers and the haptic feedback that we find in the PlayStation controller, because if it did, then this would probably be my go-to. But because of the similarity of the Xbox One controller to the Series X one, we are able to use our old Xbox One controllers on the Xbox Series X. Microsoft is establishing a sort of ecosystem. I think it's coming along very nicely and something that you all should consider. A cool feature is if you do have a PC and you do have an Xbox, you can use Xbox Play Anywhere feature to leave off on the same place when you play on either a PC or Xbox and go to the other. In addition, if you played a lot of Xbox in the past, whether it's Xbox 360, Xbox One, or the original Xbox, the backwards compatibility library is way bigger than it is on PlayStation. You can play so many 360 games and even original Xbox games. And if you didn't own enough titles in the past, there is Xbox Game Pass. And Xbox Game Pass is likely the saving grace of the Series X. We can talk more about the value of Xbox Game Pass since it is $15 a month for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which also includes an Xbox Live subscription, but we can go more into that another time. Just know, if you're getting 2 new games that are on Game Pass already, then it's already basically worth it for you. Xbox Game Pass's immense library is one of the things I found so cool about using the Series X, because in some of those games, even in the beginning stages of the Series X, you can see performance increases, and you will continue to see that. There's a whole list of games of which have next-gen upgrades or not. And for those of you who are Android phone users, you can use Microsoft's xCloud to stream any Xbox Game Pass game on your phone. And then lastly, what I want to talk about with games before we go on to the hardware and the UI is the exclusives. So at launch, we have no next-gen exclusives for Xbox Series X, which is a disappointment in comparison to the PS5. However, they are coming. It does feel like Microsoft botched the launch by not coming out with the exclusives, and as an Xbox user, you always think, alright, just wait, and then it will get a lot better. And I truly believe that is the case, but it's something that you don't experience as much with the PlayStation. With all that said, the future exclusives are coming, and they've gotten better. So, Xbox has always had Halo, Gears, Flight Simulator, Sea of Thieves, Forza, which are all nice games. But now, Microsoft acquired Bethesda, and you'll be seeing a lot more exclusives potentially on the Series X. We already are seeing that Game Pass is getting some Bethesda games. However, if we see games like Wolfenstein, Elder Scrolls, and Doom as Xbox exclusives, then that can change the balance of which console has the best exclusives for you personally. Okay, we'll get off games now. So let's talk about the Series X itself. So the look of the Series X has a very minimalist look. And I'm a big fan, even in comparison to the PS5, because it fits in a lot more places than the PS5 could. Despite it looking like I can grab a soda out of it, the Series X has a very minimalistic look. And the accents on the top with the green are a very nice touch. It is much bigger than last gen's consoles, but that is for good reason. One of the biggest reasons to get the Series X is the performance. It is the most powerful console ever. Now, we've seen at the beginning that Xbox has underperformed in comparison to the PlayStation 5, and that is partially because Microsoft got their dev kits out a lot later than Sony did. But games will be optimized for the Series X, and you'll see probably similar performance on both, which are two beasts of consoles. For the first time on a console, we're getting 4K 120 FPS capability. And that's huge because it really proves that we're getting ever so closer to the high-end gaming experience of a PC. Now at this point, 4K 60 FPS is likely the target for most games. And that in itself looks really good. I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla at 60 FPS, and I really enjoyed the look of the game. There were a bunch of things I tried where the upgrade of the Series X just felt so much different than last gen, especially when it comes to loading time. Although it's supposedly not as fast as Sony's NVMe storage, it's still very fast. And we've seen game loading times at similar speeds between the two consoles. And a major feature with the Series X is quick resume. Microsoft uses the new RAM in particular to keep games loaded to where you can switch between games very quickly and be at the same point. And for those of you who play a lot of games, this can be a game changer in loading times. What astonished me was even after you unplugged the Xbox, it still was able to keep it into the memory, and quick resume still worked. It's probably the best exclusive Series X feature, in my opinion. And when you are playing games, the noise level of the Xbox is almost dead silent. It's just amazing to not hear. I was surprised, even when I thought I was pushing the console, you still couldn't hear anything. Now, dust may build up over time, but at this moment, the amount of noise that you hear out of the Series X is just incredible. Before we talk about my final verdict, I want to discuss the UI and user experience. It reminds me a lot of the Xbox One UI, which to many might be a disappointment because it feels like iteration, but it also contributes to that ecosystem-like feeling. With that said, I almost wish we got a rehaul just so it felt more next gen, yet I'm very used to the UI because I played a lot of Xbox One, so it was easy for me to navigate and everything, and the customization of it is very nice and it's more customizable than the PlayStation UI. For those who haven't owned an Xbox One in the past, it will take a little bit of getting used to, but I don't think it's that bad. Over time, it really has become something I've liked. Many people want to make the discussion of which console you should get cut and dry, and for me, that's just not the case. The Series X has a lot of great things going for it. Now, I will try to help you make a decision in the full comparison, but if you're looking to get an Xbox Series X, I don't think you'll really be disappointed. Now, if you're considering getting a Series X versus Series X, then it's going to be a tougher decision. I think if you can utilize the disk drive, the extra storage, then it'd be worth it just in that. But remember, you also get a performance upgrade, and even though we saw that the Series S was supposed to support almost all the same things the Series X does, but just at 1440p rather than 2160p, we see performance differences in general. I truly believe even the casual gamers will be able to tell a decent difference between last gen and now the Series X because of performance, quick resume, and the affordability in comparison to a PC. The Xbox Series X gets my recommendation, and like I said, you won't be disappointed if you do pick this up. So thank you all so much for watching. Please subscribe if you're new, and peace.